Story Spectacular.
Today's show is titled Doggie and Kitty Switcharoo. If you enjoy this episode, remember to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts.
Who wants a story?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go!
Welcome to Story Spectacular, the podcast for tamer car rides, relaxing bedtimes, or for when you just need a break with a fun story. I'm your host, Angie. Today, we're going to hear a story about a dog and cat who just can't seem to get along. So, they decide to trade places for the whole day. It sounds like things are going to get pretty crazy for old Doggie and Kitty. Let's begin our story now. Doggie and Kitty Switcharoo. The doggie and the kitty didn't seem to like each other very much.
Woof, woof.
One day, Doggie woke up on the wrong side of the dog bed and decided he was fed up with the rude and snobby kitty.
You just lie around all day and take cat naps. You never want to play in the mud. I think you're a real sourpuss.
The kitty was very insulted by the dog's stern words.
Oh, yeah? Well, I think you're a big, loud, messy slob. You leave mud prints all over the house, and you slobber everywhere.
You wouldn't last one day in my paws, you lazy kitty.
Well, we'll see about that, you slobbermouth dog.
Doggie and Kitty decided to trade places for the day. They gave each other a list of chores for the other one to do, then they shook paws.
Humph!
Doggie looked at the first item on the list. It said, chase the mice out of the cellar. So, Doggie trotted down to the dark, dingy cellar.
Doo-doo-doo.
He sniffed and searched but couldn't see any mice in the dark. Then suddenly, a little mouse scurried across Doggie's feet. He tried to chase after it, but the little mouse scurried up onto a high shelf just out of Doggie's reach.
You come down here this instant so I can remove you from the house, you naughty mouse.
Why don't you jump up here like the kitty and make me?
But Doggie couldn't jump up like the kitty and catch the mouse, so he was unable to finish the first task, and thus decided to move on to the second chore on the list. It said, use the kitty litter box to go potty.
Oh dear.
The doggie clumsily tried to use the kitty litter box, but he couldn't quite figure out how to use this kind of potty. He had to go outside instead. After that fiasco, Doggie decided to jump ahead to the final chore on the list. Carefully wash and groom yourself. The doggie had seen Kitty groom herself by licking her paw and scrubbing behind her ears. But Doggie couldn't seem to bend his paws like that.
I can't reach behind my ear.
And so, at the end of the day, Doggie was unable to finish a single item on Kitty's chore list. Meanwhile, the kitty's first job was to go for a walk outside on a leash. But Kitty hated the leash and didn't like to have to walk in a straight line. The walk outside only lasted a few steps before Kitty had enough of the leash. The next item on the list was to play fetch with a frisbee.
Me? Fetch?
At that very moment, a whirling frisbee came hurling towards Kitty.
Yikes!
She jumped out of the frisbee's way just in time. She tried to pick up the frisbee to fetch it back, but the disc was too heavy for Kitty to lift off the ground. She walked back indoors, tracking mud across the floor.
Oh well, time to try chore number 3.
The third chore on the list said, take a bath in the bathtub. Kitty anxiously watched the bathtub fill up with water and bubbles. Then she was thrown into the tub.
Ew!
Needless to say, Kitty was unable to complete a single item on the list. That afternoon, Doggie and Kitty were walking with their tails between their legs. They decided to meet up for a pet talk.
Gosh, Kitty, I had no idea it would be so hard to be a cat. There are so many special things that only a kitty can do.
Well, I had no idea it was so doggone difficult to be a doggy. I'm sorry for calling you a slobbermouth.
Doggie and Kitty agreed to go back to being a dog and cat. But there was one activity that both Doggie and Kitty could agree on. They both love being patted by friends. Do you have a doggie or a kitty? Maybe you even like to listen to stories with your spectacular pet. Tell us all about your special friend and even send in a photo for the Story Spectacular Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/storyspectacular and join in on all the fun.
Roof, roof.
I'm sure glad that Doggie and Kitty learned to get along better. All this talk about cats and dogs has made me curious to learn even more about them. Luckily, Tildy the tortoise is here to tell us some fun facts. Tildy is a tortoise. She is one of the oldest living creatures on the planet. She's been all around the world and has seen many, many things. She's here with us today to tell us 3 fun facts about cats and dogs. Isn't that right, Tildy? That is correct, Angie. I've been all around and seen just about everything there is to see. Today I have some fun facts about cats and dogs.
Woof.
Fact 1. Dogs can't see as well as people, but their sense of smell is very good. They naturally have wet noses, which allows them to smell different scents even better. No wonder dogs are always scratching and sniffing.
Woof, woof.
Fact 2. Cats are terrific jumpers. They have strong muscles in their back legs and they use their tails for balance. Common house cats have even been known to jump over 8 feet high. Wow, I wonder if cats can dunk basketballs. Fact 3. A long, long time ago, before dogs and cats became household pets, they lived out in the wild. They had to hunt for their own food and fight off other predators. Dogs and cats still have a lot of these natural instincts. That's why they don't always get along when they first meet.
Woof, woof.
But after some time, they can get used to one another. I wish I could talk to cats and dogs. Me too, Angie. If I ever become the first turtle to start meowing or barking, I'll be sure to come back and let you know. Sounds good to me, Tildy. Come back again soon to share even more fun facts. Goodbye, young ones. We had a lot of fun today talking about some silly pets. We heard about Doggie and Kitty trading places and how they learn to appreciate the other one's unique talents.
Roof, roof.
We also learned some fun facts about cats and dogs with Tildy the tortoise. I think today's show was the cat's meow. It was doggone fun. Story Spectacular. Story Spectacular is written and hosted by Angela Ferrari. To learn more about the show and to purchase original children's books, go to StorySpectacular.com. Did you think today's episode was the cat's meow? Then subscribe to the podcast and tell all of your spectacular friends about our show. Together we can have some doggone fun while discovering pet-tacular stories too. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye, young ones.
Roof, roof.